Hi, make sure you stay tuned to the end of the episode because, in honor of the 4th of July, John's going to name all 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence from memory, right?
Of course.
All right. Hey, welcome to episode 7 of Binge Moto. This week we got our friend Jon Ross back. And last week we both went on a couple of trips, right? I went on a family vacation, so obviously there was no episode last week. Just want to remind you that if you're watching, you can like and subscribe and share it with a friend. And there's also an audio version for people who like to download the audio version and listen to it at work or whatever. And this week we got some interesting topics. John's going to tell us what it's like to be a brand ambassador and the good and the bad, I guess, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And we're also going to talk a little bit about Minnesota that has passed, or they didn't pass, but they just put the law in effect where they have lane splitting and lane filtering now. And then we're also going to talk about a couple of new bikes that just were announced recently. So, how you doing, John? Welcome.
Great. Thank you. Glad to be here again.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Yeah. So, where did you go last week? You went,
So we were in the mountains, Carolinas,
yeah,
and just outside of Greensboro, and
no motorcycle.
no motorcycle. I wish I'd have had one. It was hot, but it would have been nice to be cruising through the mountains on one.
Yeah. Yeah. So, my family and I, I'm not going to make this like a travel vlog or anything, but we went up to, we'd never been to the Northeast really. I'd been to New York and stuff a few times, but never any of the northern, like Maine or New Hampshire or Vermont, any of that stuff up there. So we decided, heck with it. We flew up to Boston and rented a car. So my wife and my older son came. My younger son had a class, so he couldn't come. But we ended up doing all those states up there: Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Vermont, and we even drove up into Canada for a day. Went up to Montreal. It's really cool. Ended up back in Boston on the 4th of July. Walked the Freedom Trail. That was pretty cool.
Mm.
I wish I had a motorcycle up there. It would have been fun. We had talked about it a few weeks back that going into Nova Scotia, that was kind of like our plan, but it looked a lot like Maine to me. So I'm like, I've already seen 2 days worth of rocky coastline. So I thought I'll save that for a trip with John. We'll go up there on the motorcycles.
Yeah, you got to be on a motorcycle if you're going to do it. Being in the car, it takes away a lot of what makes it special.
And it's pretty big. So I was looking at to get like the Cabbage Trail part of it from Maine. It was like another 4 or 5 hours
Oh yeah.
each direction. So I was like, man, do I want to spend 10 more hours in the car? Because what we did notice being up there is that everything up there is incredibly close together. Like you realize living in Florida is like such an inconvenience. Like Tampa or even Miami's got to be twice as bad. Like from here to Atlanta is a 7 or 8 hour drive. Up there in 8 hours, you can go from Philadelphia to Washington to New York to
Mhm.
Boston, like all in one day. Like,
Yeah.
because wherever we were like, oh wow, we're only 2 hours from this place. Oh, we're only 2 hours. So we just kept bouncing around. We ended up going all over the place.
Hmm.
Went to Mark Twain's house in Connecticut, which was really nice, very cool, and I have a museum there and everything. And we're like, heck, let's just go to New York City. So we booked a room and went to New York City, parked the car, hopped on the subway, rode around for 2 days, and saw a play and everything. So it was fun.
Yeah, the Northeast and well, I can't talk.
Canada.
I've only had a little bit,
Yeah,
guys.
we're just getting started.
It's gonna be a long 45 more minutes at this rate. Yeah, it's beautiful. And the things you can see in a short period of time make it
Yeah,
just very special and unique. And like I said, I mean, if you want to see it, you're either gonna have to have a convertible or a motorcycle to make it
yeah.
really fun.
The good thing about it was there wasn't really a lot of cool mountainous roads or anything. I know Vermont does have some mountains. There's some ski resorts there and stuff, but like where we went, one thing I did do like immediately when we started driving was I put avoid tolls on,
Hmm.
and that because everything up there's a toll road,
Yep.
which when you're in a rental car, you're like, I'm not getting screwed by the rental car for hundreds of dollars for these stupid tolls. Plus, I wasn't in a hurry to get anywhere, and so it just put us on all these little back roads. So we went almost exclusively like on two lane highways and ended up driving through all these little towns and just it was almost like copy and paste though. You pull into the town, it has the exact same drag with the same square and the same, the courthouse and the
Yep.
whatever, but it was really nice. And
Well, did you use the Rever app or did you use something different?
I just used Google.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Google Maps.
If he would have used Rever, he could have used my coupon code, two wheel ADV, because that'll do all that for you as well. And then it also has access to the BDR routes, and the other routes for specific motorcycling. And you can avoid all that stuff too.
Yeah, I have the Rubber Pro, and
Did you use my code?
I got it last year.
I wish I had
I,
that kind of
I
money.
wish I wish I had known. Well, I got to renew it, so when I renew it,
All right.
I'll put your code
We'll
in.
see if I'm still part of the cool kids and have it. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
been a while since everybody's used it.
yeah. So all right, well, we'll go ahead and get it. We'll get to the bikes later. Tell us about like how do you become a brand ambassador? Like what are your responsibilities? Like how big do you have to be to get that? So I was on another podcast before and we had just started getting into like getting the code for Cardo and Revzilla, but I think those are like bare minimum. You don't really have to have a lot of followers.
It's different. There's different stages. From when I started, it's changed. It's complete opposite, for majority of the companies, what they're looking for. Uh, I started a blog because I got sick and tired of seeing these famous YouTubers talk about how amazing gear was. And then I would buy the gear based on their recommendations, and it was garbage. So I created a blog that was no BS because I didn't need sponsorships. I didn't need free gear because I had a job. I worked 9 to 5. I
Right.
didn't have to have someone pay me to say that this gear was awesome. And that's why I started doing what I was doing with the YouTubes, the blogging, and the Instagram. And how I came about getting my first, I guess, brand ambassadorship, we'll use that term loosely, was I had gone up to Canada. Um, I bought a BMW Adventure helmet, which you could not get in the United States. And the dealer here in Tampa, he was very excited to see it. He's never felt one in his hand. So I showed up and just so happened one of the big shots from Climb was there. And I had no idea who he was, just some random dude at the calendar or calendar. Wow, like I said, it's been a long day. One random dude at the counter, he started talking to me about it, and I just told him straight out. I said, "Well, right now, I don't know any other helmet that's better on the market than this because it's just the competition is very narrow."
Right.
And then he's like, "Well, can I see it?" And I was like, "You want to take my bike?" And so I gave him a $30,000 BMW, handed him the keys, some dude I've never met, and gave him my helmet. Off he went, and he came back around. He goes, "Hey, I'm so and so with Climb. We would really like to get you our new helmet coming out, which was the Climb Cryos." And that's how it kind of started with me.
Yeah.
Me just shooting crap, and him liking that I was very forward and didn't care. It's this is what I think of a product, and take it or leave it type of attitude. And from there, I started working with Climb. Um, got with Cardo. Cardo was kind of like unofficial, but anytime I needed something with Cardo, they sent it out to me. When I went to Alaska, took that group up there, I had, I think, 6 comms that they sent me for my group so we could all test out the original,
The mesh.
yeah, the original mesh. Because, I was like from the beginning with Cardo when they transitioned from their original name because they weren't Cardo back then, they were Scalar Rider. So when they were making that transition, they were then using me to help promote their new products, the Cardo Pack Talks, and I was testing it in terrain that they've never really had it out in. And then I was giving them the feedback, and they were constantly updating it based upon things that users were actually experiencing. And I became official with them years later. But yeah, I mean, I just kept plugging along with the blogs and talking about gear if it was good or bad. And then Climb started, kind of dialing down with the products that they were releasing, and Revit reached out to me and promised me the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I got with Climb. I said, "Hey, this is what these guys are offering me. I mean, they're talking about free trips. They're talking about all this crazy stuff. I mean, can I get like a little bit?"
Right.
And they just didn't have the budget. So I was like, screw it. I'll give it a shot. I'll try it. And when I went with Revit, it was it was opposite. It was a lot different experience. They very, very censored with what you have to say. And
So that was one of the questions I had. Can you give honest feedback on their gear?
the, they didn't want to hear it. They,
Because you would reach out to your rep first before you would go like write a
yeah.
blog about it.
just pretty much with Revit, I stopped doing any type of blogging with their products because I knew that the
But
gears that they were sending me, I didn't have positive things to say about it,
right.
and that they would have kicked me out of their brand ambassador program. And they were sending me thousands of dollars worth of gear per
No, I
year.
know. I've seen you got a pretty good closet full of
Yeah,
jackets and pants and all kinds of stuff.
yeah. I mean, they were always keen of, well, tell us some feedback, and then you tell them the feedback, and it's kind of like, well, thanks. And then they'd file it in that little desk that everybody files the crap they don't want to hear about.
Hmm.
Because, I think I was with Revit 4 years, and they would produce all this gear, but never really touch on the topics that Americans needed, which the long distance crew for Americans wasn't having 50 layers of gear. Like, we just want what Climb offered. The Climb Badlands is what I was very familiar with. It's one piece of gear. It's waterproof from the outside, and you then buy the nice liners, the thermal liners, the wool stuff, and you wear it on the inside when you travel. And Revit was opposite. It was a nice outer shell that was not waterproof.
Right. Then you have to put that,
Then you got to put now a waterproof membrane underneath your jacket.
which means your jacket gets soaked.
It gets completely soaked. It gets heavy. So, for someone like me who was traveling between 250 to 400 miles per day, now I'm in torrential rain. That jacket's soaked. It's more fatigue because it weighs more. It's like, guys, come on. Like, this looks great going to Starbucks. If literally I just want to show off how awesome I look, Revit was fantastic. Like, their gear is beautiful,
Yeah.
but
It's not cheap gear either.
it's
It's
not.
expensive gear.
It's
Yeah.
more than Climb right now. And, these are little things that, this is what the consumer base really needs, and you guys are missing the mark. Like, Climb is still doing what they're doing, and they're making fantastic outer membrane waterproof gear.
Right.
Why aren't you guys doing that and still have your nice designs? Because for me and you, it's cut very well for us,
Right.
but for the average American,
I know, like you let me borrow one of your climb jackets once, or I know I've got one out there. And I had to take the elbow pads out because it was so narrow
no, that was the
on the
Revit
arms.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
the Revit one is really narrow on the arms.
yeah.
Like I put it on, I was like, I was so stiff I couldn't bend my elbows, so I had to take the pads out of it.
They're very European cut, and
Yeah,
for Americans who aren't like me, especially.
yeah.
I mean, you're a little bit more beefier than me, but yeah, they're
Thanks for noticing.
yeah, you go to the gym. I don't. I mean, I don't. It is what it is. That's right. Yeah, it goes the opposite way. I yeah, I think that they've missed the mark for years, and this is a huge group of riders in the United States.
Yeah, on my cross country trip, I went just to cycle gear and I bought one of their in-store brand. They call it the WP waterproof line or
Mhm.
whatever. Nice adventure jacket though, and got a lot of compliments on it. It was crazy. Like everywhere I'd go into stores all over the country, I could go and fill up for gas or whatever.
Yep.
People like, oh, I like that jacket. Where'd you get it?
Yeah.
And it was like $200. It
Mhm.
wasn't 500 or 1,000. Like some of those adventure jackets are like a grand.
The last one I got from Revit before I departed, it's like 1450, and that's not counting the I think that doesn't come with the back pad or the chest pad or something. Like, it misses something of the armor that you got to spend another $50 to get.
Yeah,
It's like you're already spending over $1,000. Just give them that extra piece of armor. Like, why are you gonna make me buy something extra? But
and it in like a torrential rain. So I have one of those onesie zip up suits, which is also like a cheapo thing I bought for
yeah.
like $100 from. And that thing I've had it for like when I bought it, I thought it's gonna last one trip. I've had that thing balled up in my bag
Mhm.
for like 5 years, and it's still like perfect.
Yeah.
It has like just a Velcro and a zipper in the middle, and it actually, if you ride for like hours, like water will gather in your lap and it'll
Mhm.
eventually seep in. But otherwise, like I pull it off and I'm bone dry. That jacket, the jacket I bought, the Sedici, it was like if it rained too hard for too long, the water would eventually get through
Mhm.
the outer shell of it. Like I don't know if it was going through the zippers or just it would get a little bit heavier, but for the most part, it worked pretty well, and I didn't get, thankfully, not too much rain on that trip. But
Well, and that's the thing is, so like when I did Nova Scotia all those years ago, I had Generation 1 of the Climb Badlands. and we were in hundreds of miles of torrential rain because we were trying to outrun I think it was the hurricane or tropical storm. Something was coming up the East Coast, and we're like parallel on it almost. And it failed. The waterproof membrane failed.
Yeah,
So literally, I had a video of it when the trip was over with. I called Climb, and I was not their official brand ambassador or whatever. They just said, "Hey, yeah, we warranty it," and they sent me out a whole new kit. So I mean, we're talking about over $1,000 worth of gear. They're just like, "Okay, yeah, we failed. We got you." And that was it.
that's good.
Yeah, that was great. But yeah, no, there's gear for every type of ride, I guess. Long distance guys, long distance guys, you know, the outer layer waterproofing, I think is where it's at. If you're gonna be riding in the desert, go with the breathable stuff, and then have like what you're talking about, the one you just throw over if you've got the crazy rains coming,
Right.
because you want all the ventilation in the world.
So, when you have like a brand ambassadorship like that, do you have to be careful what you post? Like, if you go on there and talk some political shit or whatever, do you get a phone call from your rep or
Well, apparently you do have to watch what you say. I guess they didn't really read any of my blog articles prior to inviting me into the Cool Kids Club of Reddit because I don't really hold back when I'm talking about things on my blog. Like I'm professional, but there's a point being made.
right?
Like don't say something and then not back it up. And that brought me to Ducati. I had a Ducati dealership when I was coming back from it was the BDR trip I took the couple years ago. They invited me to the dealership, and they wanted me to basically be their representative for that dealership, get them business, take people on rides, and then bring people into the store to sell merchandise and
Yeah, bikes.
bikes
Yeah.
for them. And I was like, okay, hey, that sounds great. I would love to do that. It's my wheelhouse for riding. What's in it for me? And, it was, "Well, we'll talk about it when you get here, and, we'll go from there." I said, "Well, great. Well, I need a service. I just did so many thousands of miles. I'll come in, I'll get my bike serviced, and then we can discuss the finer details." "Yeah, okay." Well, I called him ahead of time, and I said, "What is your I think it was just an annual service is all I needed for the Ducati. It wasn't anything crazy. So it's an oil change, basic oil change, a couple torques.
Comprehensive list of, and yeah, that's what
Y
they always say.
Yeah, it's literally nothing. The book calls for an hour and 7 minutes, I believe, for that service. So I said, "Do you follow Ducati transparency?" And I know this because, again, I was the Ducati service manager, and we have to follow these guidelines to become a franchise. He goes, "Oh, yeah, no, we follow the Ducati transparency." It's like, "Okay, well, then I don't need to know what it's gonna cost because I know it's only an hour and 7 minutes, and the most you're gonna screw me for is an hour and a half because, you normally bump
Gotta
it up.
round it up, yeah.
You round it up a little bit."
And then it takes 45 minutes.
So I show up, I drop the bike off. He gives me a quote for like $850 for an oil change. And I said, "Wait a minute, you told me you follow Ducati
Are you doing a
transparency."
valve adjustment?
"Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, we follow Ducati transparency." I said, "Hold on a minute." And I had it already pulled up on my phone because I had a feeling they were going to screw me over.
Yeah.
I said, "Can you read? Because I can." It says an hour and 7 minutes. What's your hourly rate? 175. Okay, so where are we getting all these other hours you're putting in here? So now they bring out their master technician. He goes, "Oh no, this takes 2 hours at least to do this job." I'm like, yeah,
All right. So the 2 hours are still only at $400, not 900.
yeah. So they agreed to take off an hour of service. So we went from 3 hours down to 2 hours with their master technician. And I said, "Look, I asked you if you follow it. You told me you do. I expect you guys to charge me a little bit more because no one wants to make only an hour and 7 minutes. You hit me with 3 hours, and then you think you're going to do me a favor by knocking off an hour when it should only really cost me about 300 and some dollars to do this service." And he got an attitude with me. So I said, "You know what? I'll do it myself. I don't need you to touch my bike. An idiot can do this service."
Right.
So I went out to see him, and I said, "Hey, look, I know you're going into a meeting. I'm not sticking around. I'll follow up with you with what I want out of this deal that you're trying to make." And he goes, "Well, what's wrong?" what happened with the service? I said, well, he just tried to rip me off for $850. So he storms out, and I see them fighting in the parking lot, yelling and screaming at each other. And, next thing I know, he just comes in and says, okay, well, hey, just send me an email with what you want. And
Free service.
I mean, yeah, I mean, basically, I wrote him. I said, look, this is what I'm going to lose money wise to come make your dealership better. And he's like, oh, well, we weren't planning on really doing any of that. We would figure we'd help you out with a service here and there. And my response was, so you want me to lose thousands of dollars of working to come make you hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Yeah,
So that makes a lot of sense.
for you.
Yeah, like only an idiot would take that deal. But then it goes back to brand ambassadors, because brand ambassadors, they don't think anything really through, some of them. And they're like, oh, the notoriety of working for a dealership and getting all famous. Like, no, you're losing. If you work, if your primary job is something outside of the motorcycle career, you're losing money to go help someone else build their name, their brand.
Right.
Like, it's dumb. And so after that, I wrote an article about Ducati transparency for maintenance and how these dealers are out of control. And I called all the top dealers in the country. They were included because they were listed as the number one dealership in the nation by Ducati. And one of the Revit employees got very offended by that because they didn't like what I had to say. And instead of coming to me privately, they decided to attack me on my social media feed, back and forth, basically saying, well, this is how it is. Maybe you just haven't worked with any other motorcycle companies and you don't know what you're doing. I'm like, well, let's see. We were the Ducati franchise, the Pirelli franchise, the Moto Guzzi franchise, the what's that other expensive brand other than Moto Guzzi? Expensive one, expensive.
Oh,
The one that looks pretty, but you don't actually ride.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The Super Veloce
Yeah,
Via Gusta.
Via Gusta, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I was a manager for all those. So yeah, no, I've only worked with Ducati. I have no idea what I'm talking about. And so after I pulled her into a private conversation, the whole tune changed. And it's like, well, I was really more upset because you had the Revit logo showing when you were talking. I'm like, really? Said, I drink coffee in almost all of my videos I shoot for Instagram, and I hold my phone out in front of me, and that's why it's close. She's like, well, it looked like you were zooming on the Revit logo. I'm like, come on. I'm literally drinking my coffee as I'm shooting this with holding my cell phone because it's high-end production that I do.
Yeah.
I do nothing cheap. And it's like, well, I'm sorry that you felt that way. That wasn't the intention, but I'll put one of my salty Leo adventure stickers on there and we won't have that issue again. So that from that point on, that created a lot of issues for me with Revit. And I noticed a lot of BS. And then finally it was at the point where they were picking on some people, they were running their mouth. And you can't be a liberal company and claim that you're for everyone and still make fun of people. Like, you either love everyone and you just go about your day living life a certain way, or you're like me who tells you the way it is.
Right.
And I started calling them out on it, and they didn't like that at all. Of course not. Who likes being called out on your double standards?
Oh, that's my I've had to like really dial myself back, especially like on Facebook, because I have friends on both sides that were always mad at me because I would see them post things that were just blatantly not true, and they were putting it through as like a fact. And I'm like, okay, there's plenty of real things you could say about person X.
Yeah,
Why are you making crap up?
yeah. Well,
And then they go, oh, you're a bleeding heart liberal. And then I tell my other friends, they're like, oh, you're a conservative asshole. And I'm like, I can't be both.
it's like you can't please everybody.
Yeah, I just don't like the hypocrisy. That's the only I don't like. Say whatever you want about, just keep it true.
It's easy for me. I don't care what your political beliefs are, what you want to dangle between your legs. It's, are you a decent person?
Right.
Are you going to lie to me? Are you going to do something to hurt me or my family? That's the only thing I really care about. Whatever you want to do outside of our conversations, that's up to you, but don't pretend like you're something you're not, because I will call you out on it. And that's ultimately what I did. The one employee started making fun of an Asian guy who had a very large following out of another country. And I just said, hey, this is inappropriate. You guys are claiming to be like
Right.
this amazing, loving family. and yet your employees are openly making fun of people. And then the big boss calls me and says, "Well, I'm Asian and I'm not offended by that." I said, "Well, you know what? That guy was, because I showed him what she said, and he was offended by that. So we got one Asian it is and one it isn't. I guess, hey, this is how America is. Some people are offended by the stuff we say. That's why you guys were supposed to be this all-inclusive,
Right.
loving family." And so, at that point, I knew everything was going downhill. So
Yeah.
I'm not holding back at this
Yeah.
point.
Like, nope, we're not pulling the parachute now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I already knew I was out. They were kicking me off of
Just
their.
light it on fire and aim straight for the ground.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, I can buy their gear. It
Yeah.
wasn't about the free gear. It was more of the principle thing is don't sit here and tout yourself as a certain company when you're not. And it just kept going on and on. They were making fun of another very popular writer, and I called him out on that too. I'm like, this guy's done nothing to you guys. You guys are saying how terrible this person is, and you're going after him. Like, we don't even know what the facts are. This is one of the riders that was hired by Ducati to go ride their Special Desert X at one of the races. And it's like,
Hmm.
I don't even know, and I'm friends with him. And you guys are running your mouth about him without the facts, and you're just spreading all these rumors around. And again, you're saying you're this type of company, but you're starting all the drama. And so this is what we're dealing with in America today is you claim something, but you do the exact opposite.
Right.
And I just want to ride motorcycles and have a good time. If you got a problem with me, come see me. We'll deal with it one way or another. We're going to take care of it. And no one's taking me up on the offer because they don't want to make the drive to Florida, I guess, too far.
Right.
But yeah, so after my last communications with that incident, I got my Dear John letter. I hadn't heard from him for over a year. Everything was good. Everything was great. They posted some gear. I read the article of one of their new people they hired, and I wrote a comment, and it was very simple. Lying gear sucks or lying gear is garbage. One of their employees actually texted me in the middle of the morning and basically went off on me. And it's like, you know what? Screw it. Let's write something. And I'm going to post a whole bunch of stuff to their corporate office and I send it off because I'm done. I'm not going to take that BS. So, yes, getting back to the point of all of that, some companies, a majority of the new companies, they want you to live this fake life and not be genuine, not be yourself. It's all rainbows and sunshine. And if they're making fun of someone, they want you to go along with the plan.
Hmm.
And that's just not me. So um, I never got paid by them to, go out and do these fancy things. You got Itchy Boots, you got the other guys. They actually are getting paid by Reddit
Right.
to do all that fancy stuff. Yeah, the majority of the companies now, you have to be very, very careful on what you say because they're so afraid of offending the 1% of the crowd that's very, very loud instead of just saying, these are our principles, you know, take it or leave it. I'd rather have someone that's telling the truth about their gear than a whole bunch of people are just, yeah, this is great gear, buy it.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I guess I'm not going to get a Revit sponsorship.
probably not. I mean, if you talk smack about me, you will.
Oh, yeah.
Next episode, say, man, that guy is a real prick
Yeah.
out there.
What a jackass that
Yeah.
John was.
Yeah, man. Hey, Rabbit, you guys hire? Yeah, but the on the side note, I am back with Climb. They welcomed me back with open
Oh,
arms,
well, congratulations.
and unfortunately, I can't really ride like I used to, so
Yeah.
I can't take advantage of really anything. But
Start wearing their jackets on your boat.
yeah, I mean,
You could test the waterproof.
I need it on some of those trips.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean right now I've stopped accepting any of the offers people were sending me because I just don't have time to ride. But I do casual things here and there with Climb. I'm still helping out Cardo to this day. I'm on a little bit more official, actually mentioned brand ambassador capacity, but no, it's very low key. If people ask me questions about it, because on my YouTube channel, I'll still get questions all the time about pairing the device to the BMWs and whatnot. Um, and yeah, I mean, I've got something with Moto covers. They're out of Europe, make fantastic fur cover seats.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm all about. I love those little seat coverings. So, I helped that guy out. He's a nice guy. And, just things like that. Bit more geared towards now, uh, more wholesome companies that aren't trying to be someone they're not, you know?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps when you don't need to rely on them for money.
Yeah. I mean, if I ever get large enough to get sponsors or whatever, like I'm not really in this for the money. I mean, it would be great, sure, if I had a million followers or whatever, and I was actually getting paid, but I got a day job just like you,
Yeah.
so you know,
I mean,
I make enough money to go on trips and have fun and
yeah.
have a new motorcycle, so I don't need the I don't need the money for that,
Back when I worked for the government, my whole goal was to become that famous YouTuber so I could stop working for the government.
Right?
And that's why I was pushing so much into social media and all that. And then I realized, yeah, this is too much work. Like,
Yeah, because you put all that effort in, and it doesn't equate to how much you would get paid if you were putting that much effort in at a real job.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, well,
Like even doing this, these episodes come out, I have to like go in and edit them and cut clips out and, find B-roll and photos to
yeah,
put up and all that takes time.
it takes hours.
It takes hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Like for every episode I put out, like, obviously you get faster at it the
Mhm.
more you do it or whatever, but it puts pressure on you like, oh, I got to put a short out every day,
Yep.
and I'll make 3 of them today and then like 2 days go by, oh crap, I don't have any more shorts put aside, so I got to cut some more shorts and
And, back when I was doing more of the YouTubes 13 years ago, we didn't have AI software that would go in and do all these
oh, you
fancy
can do
edits.
some so fast now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the quality of the GoPro footage that I was using was, I think, 1080p and some 720p. So, the newer generation that's coming up and riding, I mean, they're really spoiled because literally they just shoot a quick couple minutes of video, let the AI software do all the work for them.
Yeah, well, you and I mentioned our first episode. We talked a lot about the Long Way Home series with Ian McGregor,
Hmm.
and I watched the finale yesterday. I know you haven't quite finished it yet, but like the majority of the footage of them on their bikes is shot with like a 360 camera.
Yeah.
Like you could see the shadow of the 360
Hmm.
camera like on their chest or whatever, and it looks amazing on my TV. Like I got a 75-inch TV in there, and it looks like a $10,000 or
Oh yeah.
whatever, $100,000 Sony studio camera, but it's just a little freaking
Hmm.
$500. Of course, they got multiple ones, so they get different angles or whatever. And
Yep.
they've got a camera crew or whatever, but a lot of the footage is just from that
Yeah.
360 camera. So it's pretty affordable now. Like you could start your own YouTube channel and go right around the country and make all kinds of cool videos.
I
And
mean, come see me when I'm 60,
yeah,
and that's what we can do. So by then it'll be 12K video footage.
right. But when you're 60, I'm going to be
Nice.
75. I better keep going to the gym.
You'll still be in better shape than me.
So let's switch gears here a little bit. Triumph put out they announced a new version of their scrambler. The 400X is now the 400XC, but we were kind of looking at trying to see like what
Yeah.
the differences were, and their webpage is all screwed up. It's hilarious. Like it says it weighs 1,125 pounds and has a 2,000-gallon gas tank, and so clearly somebody didn't put their metric conversion together or something.
Yeah, because I mean, for me, I love the Scrambler. It's always been one of my favorite bikes to ride and own. I've had the 1200 Scrambler, I've had the Ducati Scrambler,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, at that price point,
Yeah, because so the base model X is 58.95, and then a new XC, which has the tubeless spoke wheels and a little fly screen and a cooler paint job. I don't know what else it's got other than that, but it's 66.95. So like you were saying, it's mostly probably the wheels that cost the extra.
yeah, because the tubeless wheels cost a little bit more to make. They,
Yeah, they have the cross plane spokes or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah, they look really cool.
which
It's better for off roading
it
if
is,
you're really gonna go off roading on
yeah,
it. Yeah,
they're for off-roading and again, for the tubeless aspect of it, it's so much easier just to plug the tube in 10 minutes and be on your way instead of taking off a tire and getting in there and having to patch a tube.
right.
That's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, because you could just plug the tire if it's got a
Mhm.
nail in it or whatever. But uh, it looked pretty cool though. It had like a cool yellow
I
paint job. Yeah,
really want the yellow one.
yeah.
it's mainly because I want to get it and I want to name it Bumblebee. Like that's
Right.
as soon as I saw it, at first I was like, I was like, Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Yep.
That looks very similar to the street cup I had. It was yellow and gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I called that bike Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah, after the Bumblebee tuna,
Yeah.
which I know is elite because it's two different brands or whatever, but that's how I got to the name. But
The downside with the lesser expensive Triumphs is they have no margins. So to get a couple dollars off is really hard.
yeah,
Um,
now they've been doing some sell. Unfortunately, it's always on the Street 400
yeah.
and not the Scrambler. I guess the Scrambler just sells too well.
Yeah.
But they had a thing a few months ago where they're doing buy one get one free
Yep.
on this
I know
street
we
on
were
the street.
trying to work out a deal with
Yeah, we
them.
were trying to get him to do the Scrambler. We're like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, let's do it.
Hmm.
But they only would do it for the Street 400. He's like, dude, I got like 10 Street 400s here. I can't get rid of.
Yeah.
And we have one Scrambler. So
We need to tell them to order 20.
yeah,
So then this year we can do the BOGO deal.
right, right. Yeah, I would be on that in a second. Yeah. I mean, what is it? What did they say? The right amount of bikes is D minus one, divorce minus one.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think I get away with two because I had two before and we didn't get divorced, so I could probably squeeze one more in the garage.
Well, I'll just take my BMW and send it back to my dad's house. And then I'll go back to having just the two in there.
You sent me a picture of the new BMW 1200.
Oh yeah.
Is it the XC? What is it?
No, it's their
XF?
Scrambler. It's their 1200. I don't even know what the official title is, but basically it's like their
It's
old.
got the Boxster engine on it, but it's a Scrambler. So
Yeah, they took the Scrambler, the R9T, they turned it into a Scrambler, but modeled it after the old original HP4 with off-road capability, Scrambler looks, and I mean, if I had a spare $23,000 laying around,
yeah, it's pretty pricey.
I would get that bike. The Boxer engine plus the looks, it'd probably suck off-road. Uh,
I was gonna. Well, I mean, the weight's down low, but it's also got a really wide engine.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, the R9T that I have looks great in my garage. It's fun to take to Starbucks. The turning radius on it's garbage. It lacks a lot, but they did make a lot of updates though on this one, and the rake is different, electronics are different. So yeah, I think there's a lot of great positive things they've done for it. But again, $23,000 for the model I was looking at.
yeah,
That's what my BMW GSA cost me when I bought it 2018.
right. And
So
you could get like if you go into our local Tampa Motos, the BMW dealership here, they've got like so many nice used
yeah,
bikes, nice BMWs on there, like that are well below that, and probably a way more bike.
yeah,
Also, I'm not really a big Suzuki guy in general. My first bike ever was a Suzuki GS, but they just put out a new. They haven't released the price or whatever, but they put out the promotion for their new GSX 8T and 8TT, which is like a retro.
hmm
It's basically like a Suzuki Bonneville, or it's more like a speed twin probably. It's a parallel twin 776 P twin basically with a 270-degree crank. So it'll have very similar characteristics to a Bonneville or whatever. Um, 82 horsepower, 57 and a half pounds of torque. So no price yet. Now, if they could get it down around 10,000, I think that'd be a hell of a bike. But
yeah.
the problem is, I think the other bike in that range that they make is closer to like 13. So it's a competitive market, and like, because you can get some Triumphs now, like just right around that $10,000 mark with the.
So what the manufacturers don't want to tell you is the cost to produce the bike hasn't gone up that much. And I know this from the marine industry. Honda engines for the marine industry, when they first were coming out with the Honda 250 and 200s and whatnot, they were outrageous. I mean, you were talking $50,000 for that engine to buy, where you could buy a Yamaha for $22,000. N- Now they've come back down to reality. They're more closer to the Yamaha. But the last show I was at, the Honda rep was there, and they were scouting out all the prices between Daihatsu, Suzuki, and Yamaha. And the reps were like, yeah, we need to lower the prices again. So how do you get from $50,000 down to 20? Well, it's because the cost to produce it hasn't really changed. It's what the consumer is willing to pay. During COVID, everybody thought we were going to die. So the consumer market was paying 2 to 3 times what something was going for. And it's slowly coming down. I mean, Prime example is Toyota Sequoia. You
Yeah.
know, we were looking at that for the new family SUV, and the one we want is like $80,000.
Oh no, the SUVs are ridiculous now.
Yeah, it's insane, but yet I can go buy a BMW X7, which is on a whole nother league than a Toyota Sequoia, and it's $8,000 more. Like, why would I want a Toyota when I could get the BMW?
Right.
Again, but consumers in America are willing
Well,
to
there was a time
pay
when
that.
Kia first came out with Telluride, we were looking at them, and they were selling used ones for over retail price.
Hmm.
Like we had gone to look at one, and it was like, oh, it's got people are leasing them for like 1 year, putting 15,000 miles on them, and then trading them in for more than they paid for them.
Yeah.
And then they were selling for $42,000 or whatever. And I'm like, I think I'll just try and find a new one, because they're like, oh, we have 8 used ones here. We only got 2 new ones. And I'm like, I think I'll take the new one if it's going to be the same price. And still, it was like, we didn't even get the top model, and it was 40 grand for a freaking Kia. I'm
Hmm.
like, it's insane. But like you said, that was 5 years ago during COVID.
Yeah. I mean, there's still some companies that you can clearly see. Lexus is still very reasonable. BMW hasn't really changed their price. Even Volkswagen, they've gone up a couple dollars since before COVID, but nothing like Toyota and some of these other companies. They're just crazy.
Yeah, it looks very similar. Honda's got that new CB750 Hornet. So I think that other Suzuki they used to have, the little cafe racer looking one, the
Yeah.
green one. I don't know. That bike just looks like it was trying too hard. It's something plasticky looking about it or whatever. They were kind of cool, and I know they had a pretty good engine in them or whatever. But this, I think that was a 4 cylinder in that one?
I don't remember with the engine specs, but I mean, I know what they were going for. They wanted to bring back that retro look, and that's why
Yeah,
they.
but I think they succeeded more with this bike than they did.
Yeah, the TT.
It's got the little fly screen on
Yeah,
it, and
yeah,
it looks. I was like, I would definitely ride that bike.
it looks good. But no, the next one for me, unless I come into a lot of money, will be that little scrambler.
The
Triumph.
Triumph one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having one of those, just to go putt around up
It
in Croom or
it could
whatever.
be fun. And you know what? If the specs were actually what the website shows it as 190 pounds,
Yeah, that would be awesome.
with a 13-gallon gas tank, come on, Triumph. Triumph North America. We need to, whoever's doing your conversions and checking your, call me. I'll work from you remotely.
Yeah,
Like those would be fantastic. At 190 pounds, you would sell out every model, every bike. That would be the top performing sales bike on the planet at 190 pounds.
yeah. The Suzuki, I think it only weighs like 430 pounds,
Yeah.
which is it's pretty like the Triumph T100, T120s. They're like over 500 pounds, so that's a pretty significant. Although it doesn't have a 1200 engine, it's 750. I you know Similar power though. 82 pounds. I mean 82 horsepower, which is what a Bonneville makes. Like
Yeah.
T120 makes that.
So the Triumph 400 is supposed to be, again, the website, who knows how accurate it is, supposed to be 39 horsepower.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not bad.
not for a single. Yeah,
I
a
mean,
small single.
yeah, and you figure you do a full exhaust on it, you get rid of the cat, you do a little ECU tune. Lithics would be probably pushing 50 horsepower easy.
And at 190 pounds, like,
You're flying.
yeah, with you on it, it's still only weigh 400 pounds.
It'd be 215 pounds. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
we'll see what the official specs are once they update the website.
right.
But you have to go and screen record that and show it because it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I had looked it up just to see the price. I didn't read the specs, and you came over, you're like, did you look at the specs? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, it says it's like 1,200 inches tall or something. I mean, it was like everything on there was just bananas. Like,
Yeah.
maybe they forgot the decimal point or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that they forgot to convert it from euro to American, and yeah, it just
Yeah.
they're trying to get us excited seeing that 13-gallon gas tank at 190 pounds. I mean,
Yeah, you could ride from like here all the way to Georgia on one tank of gas.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my BMW was only roughly 8 gallons of gas, so
I have to say, we rented a Chevy Trailblazer. It was one of those things that hurts where you just go out, you pick any car in this is funny. They go, if your name's not on the board, like with your assignment, you can pick any car you want from the President's Circle. And I'm like, ooh, the President's
yeah.
Circle. I walk outside, it's like a bunch of little 4 cylinder
Hmm.
coupes. There's one SUV and some guy's got the doors open on it. And I'm like, crap, I want the SUV, you
Yeah.
know? And then he found another car and he just took off and we jumped into it real
Yeah.
quick. But I was like, oh, look, there's a cool Bronco 2 over there. Let's get that. And that was like the gold circle or whatever. And I'm like,
But the president's higher, so you should be able to get that one.
I thought that, but it's not. Whatever the other one was, it was higher than yeah, it was higher than the president's circle or whatever. Which I'm like, they should call it something else, like the emperor or something. But
Yeah.
it didn't sound higher, but it was. I couldn't get that one. But anyway, but that Trailblazer, man, we drove that thing for like 3 days before I had to get gas in it. It was crazy. It had like a 450-mile
Yeah.
range on it and only held like 12 gallons or something.
So every time we go on a trip, I try and get a fancy SUV. So
Uh-huh.
I always will book a like a premier SUV, and they always list an Audi.
Yeah,
So I always go for it. And it says Audi or similar. Okay, so a BMW.
yeah.
If I'm doing an Audi 5, I want a BMW 5. So
And they go, this Chevy Trailblazer is very similar to an Audi.
we we get to Greensboro Airport, and they have one SUV left, and it's a Genesis, and it's like the
It's a
it's
Hyundai upgrade.
yeah,
Like,
it's like an 8 series whatever Genesis SUV. And I said, the guy said, look, I want an Audi or a BMW. Like, that's what's similar. He goes, well, I mean, price wise, I said, I understand, but it doesn't drive the same.
yeah,
But we were surprised. Like, it was
they're
actually,
really nice. Yeah,
yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, I didn't, when you put the pedal down to the floor, it doesn't go anywhere because
uh-huh.
I think it was still a turbocharged 4 cylinder. I mean, comfort wise, it was still nice.
Yeah. That this car had no upgrades in it. Like it had manual seats and no heated or anything like that. But it was fine. You know, I didn't mind it at all. And I did love that had an easy button to turn off the stupid lane control or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I freaking hate that so much. My wife likes to drive usually, but I didn't put her down on that thing this time, so she couldn't drive. And we drove for like 2 hours, 3 hours, and all of a sudden it went "Beep-a-doop," and she goes, "What was that?" I go, "Oh,
Lane assist.
this is how you know you're not driving because we've been 3 hours and you haven't heard that yet.
Yeah.
Because if you were driving, I would have heard it like 47 times in the
Yeah.
first 10 minutes because she just back and forth. But yeah, I hate that when you try to change lanes and it fights you for a
Yeah.
second. I just turn that shit right off. I'm like, I can stay in the lane by myself.
Yeah.
I don't need your help.
Well, like, so my Tesla, when you turn the turn signal, you can only go one lane.
Yeah,
You try and go 2 lanes, it's gonna throw you back in, you gotta fight it.
right.
So now I hold it in upright position, and it's like it's a 50-50 shot if it's gonna throw me back or not.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I don't like that. But
yeah.
so anyway, this week we're going to have some binge recommendations. You said you haven't really watched anything yet. You finishing up the Long Way Home. Did you ever watch Squid Game, the original season?
Not the original. I saw a couple episodes of season 2 and I gave up.
Yeah. So the first season I thought was pretty good, and it was intended to be a self-contained one season only show.
Mhm.
But then it became Netflix's number one show of all time. It still is.
Sickos out there. I mean, they all loved watching people
Yeah.
murdered it.
And so I thought like season two, they were going to do like, which is what they set out to do is, the guy that won, he was going to try and shut it down and get revenge and whatever. But then he just ends up joining the game again.
Yeah.
And then they just start doing the whole thing over again where he's playing all the games and he's trying to help the people out. And it just like the second, which they made into 3 seasons, really, it was just season two and season 2B. They
Mhm.
just broke it up in the middle. Um, I don't know. Barely got through season two, and then season three started. We were on the trip, and we were pulling Netflix up on one of the hotels, and so we were watching it. And after like I don't know an episode or two, I'm like, this
Yeah.
sucks. I hate this.
Yeah.
Like so, like last night, my wife and I'm like, let's just go to the end, see how it ends. So I skipped like 3 episodes and went to like the last 10 minutes just to see what happens, and the ending sucked. And like one of the characters that was like the main storyline, the other guy, the brother of the lead henchman or whatever, like his whole journey was to like get there and confront his brother,
Mhm.
and he doesn't even really do it at the end. He's just like he sees him through a glass and he yells at him, and then I'm like, I know I just spoiled it. Who gives a shit? It's terrible. But like,
I ruined it.
yeah, like they put a pregnant woman on this season and a mother and a son. They were just trying to like up the stakes or whatever, and I'm just like, she like gives birth in the middle of a game, like it's bananas. Like, and it was terrible and just awful writing. The acting's terrible. I
So
don't know. And of course it's still going to get 14 billion views or whatever. It ends with a like a almost like a post credit thing where the bad guy's driving through LA and he looks out the window and they got Kate Blanchett. I don't know how they got Kate Blanchett. She's over there. She's doing that thing from the first season where they throw the card thing on the ground and it flips over the whatever. And then she's slapping the guy in the face, like the recruiter that gets you to join the game in the
mhm.
first place. So I guess they're going to do an American version. That's what I heard with David Fincher, which they got like, I'm like, well, maybe it'll actually be good because they'll have a good writer and a good director. But yeah, it was awful.
You know that's based on a true story.
Yeah, I know. Like,
Yeah, and they still have never found the guy.
right.
So, and that was in
Well,
Korea.
yeah, of course, we're watching like the last few things, and the sets are just ridiculous. I'm like, it would cost like $1 billion to build this for real in this giant bunker on
Mhm.
this island. Or like, how much money do they have to? Anyway, that's not my recommendation. That's my anti-recommendation. What I would recommend though is season 4 of The Bear. Did you ever watch The Bear?
No.
So The Bear is like a TV show. It takes place in Chicago. It's about a like this world-class chef that his brother and him, like when they grew up, they owned like a sandwich shop where they made like the Chicago beef sandwiches, with the sauce on them, not sauce, but the au jus or whatever. And he had gone off to like Europe and train, and he worked at the French Laundry in California, and he became like one of the world's best chefs. And then his brother kills himself, and so he goes home to the funeral, and he decides to take over the restaurant, and the restaurant's full of all these just crazy people, yelling and making sandwiches. Nobody knows what they're doing, and so he starts training them up, teaching them how to actually be line cooks and all this stuff. Then he decides at the end, like he's going to he wants to make a Michelin star restaurant out of it. So season 2 is all them converting it into an actual restaurant. And it's amazing. The writing's good. It's got cool music playing all the time. The episodes are like 30 minutes. Um, and then season 3, just, it was all, I don't know. They're kind of up their own ass a lot. Like
Mhm.
it was very, what's the word? Let's see. And
Micromanaging?
yeah, I don't know. They were like they were trying to be like very like artistic or whatever, and a lot of the episodes were just tedious.
Yeah.
So it was a little disappointing, but then I think they were trying to like show like the main character was kind of having like an emotional breakdown or whatever. But then this season, like it's back to form. It's great. Like I don't know, something about that show, like not last season so much, but the first 2 seasons and this season, like I'm watching it. And even when they're like joking with each other or they're just being like having these emotional things or they're teaching each other how to cook something or whatever, it's like, like it just like affects me. I don't know why. It's like it got an emotional resonance to it. Um they have all these cool cameos on there. Like this season they had Rob Reiner, Bob Odenkirk, Will Poulter's back again, Josh Hartnett, um, and who else was on there? Brie Larson. Yeah, so some of them are just like for one episode or maybe just one scene. And then like Jamie Lee Curtis has been on it like at least once every season, and her character was like actually like the worst character on the entire thing. She every time she's on screen, she's like they made her look more wrinkly somehow, and she's always constantly smoking, and she's always like this
Yeah.
terrible person. But this season, they kind of redeemed her and made her like actually watchable. So yeah, if you didn't like last season of The Bear, maybe check out this season because we watched it all like literally in one day because it was like 8 30-minute episodes. So we got home for vacation Sunday and we like put it on and we just sat for there 4 hours and
Yeah.
watched the entire. It's like a long movie basically. But
Well, Foundation is coming out on the 13th on
Apple,
Apple.
yeah.
Have you seen season 1 or 2?
I started to watch season 1. I know it's based on is it Isaac Asimov or it's like a famous sci-fi book series, like really famous. Yeah. So I started to watch it because all their Apple shows are like super high production
Mhm.
value, but I didn't get into it. Is it worth?
I I mean, I'm a sci-fi nerd,
Yeah,
and
because I love Silo and all the other shows they have on there are great. So
I think it's very plausible. Like I could see our I could see humanity, us 1,000 years from now being like that.
okay,
So it's not far-fetched by any means. Especially with how our political systems are currently. Yeah, I mean, it's very, it's an interesting show. The cinematography is fantastic, special effects, all that. So I'm excited for season 3 because I think it's gonna be a lot more firefights and crazy stuff happening. Yeah, season 1 started off, it was a little slow,
Yeah.
but it starts ramping up.
Yeah, like their other series they have on there, For All Mankind,
Mhm.
starts off very slow. It takes place like in the 60s. It's like an alternate history of, the moon landing and all
Mhm.
that, but it just becomes a fantastic show. And
Yeah.
I couldn't recommend it enough. It's really good. Yeah. But actually, so my movie recommendation is I looked I just realized it's not out on any of the services yet because I watched it on the plane,
Mhm.
but it was The Amateur with Rami Malek and Lawrence Fishburne.
Hmm.
I saw the trailers at the theater last year and it looked good, but then I just never got around to seeing it. So basically, this guy's like an analyst at the CIA. He's like a super nerd. Rami Malek's super skinny and, he has no, he's like afraid to travel. And his wife was going on some overseas business trip and she was played by the new Lois Lane, um, the girl from Marvelous Miss Maisel. Uh, I'll think of her name in a minute. But anyway, she gets killed like in the first 5 minutes of the movie. And these terrorists take her hostage just so they can get out of the situation. And for no reason, they shoot her basically and kill her. And then he starts like wanting them to catch the guys and they're
Mhm.
not doing it. So he goes through, does his thing. He analyzes all the cameras and
Yeah.
he figures out who like 3 out of the 4 people are right away. And he goes in to tell the guy that's above him. They already knew
Yeah.
that they knew who it was. And they weren't, he's like, you're not doing anything about it.
Of course
So
not.
he's like, so he ends up blackmailing them and saying, you have to train me. I want to go kill them.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's not far-fetched at all.
yeah, so it's pretty crazy because
That's the government 101.
yeah, it's got a lot of like, black ops shit in it, but like they're and Lawrence Fishburne's the guy training him. He's like, you're gonna get killed in like 2 minutes. You're not a killer, like so he's like, I won't spoil how he goes about it, whatever. And it's got a great twist at the end. Like you think it's gonna happen one way. And John Bernthal's in it for like, a couple of scenes. Got a little he's also in The Bear. He plays the brother that killed himself, but he's in all the flashbacks. So yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd recommend it. I watched, like I said, I watched it on the plane. Really fun. Way better than I thought it was going to be. I was like, it's going to be like a 2 star or 3 star movie, and it was like a 4 star, maybe 4.5 star. Good.
I don't have any long plane rides until, the end of the year.
Where are you going?
Cabo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna let the wife out of the cage again and take her to Cabo. That's our running joke.
Yeah, because John's wife's usually with the kids. It's like when I see him, it's always like on the motorcycle trip, and she used to ride with you all the time, but
Yeah.
now like with the kids, you don't ride so much
Mhm.
anymore. And so, like at a certain point, I was like, my wife doesn't think your wife is real, like, or she's locked up in a cage somewhere and can't get out. So
She's a blow-up doll.
yeah, we made a breakfast date one morning and we're like, oh my God, like she is real.
She doesn't let me down for that.
Yeah.
She's like, "You must never talk about me." I'm like, "I do."
Yeah.
So, yeah, I let her out last week for the wedding. I'm gonna let her out in Cabo. I mean, I think I'm fair. She gets out a couple times a year.
Yeah. After watching the last episode of Long Way Home, man, I want to go to Switzerland so bad. God dang, it's so pretty there. I mean, I've been there like twice now. The first time we were in Lucerne, which is not like the most beautiful spot, but then the last time we went, which has been, 5, 6 years ago, we actually went up in the Alps.
Mhm.
Oh my God. And you start thinking, oh, that's the most beautiful place on earth. And then like recency bias comes into effect. You're in Utah or you're in Colorado and you see the mountains out there and you're like, oh wow, this is just as beautiful. And then I was watching that clip last night,
Yeah.
like, no, no, Switzerland.
Skiing at all?
We used to ski, but I'm probably too old for it now. I know there's people in their 80s who ski, but
Well,
I
because
can't risk getting my knees broken for my job. So
I mean, I'm gonna snowboard, but, I'm trying to go out there in, like, February or March
okay.
to fly over there.
To
Supposed to
Switzerland. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, 'cause it's cheaper than going to Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado's so expensive now.
Like, going to Colorado is at least 6 grand.
Yeah,
Going to Switzerland with airfare and everything, it's gonna be like 3.
yeah.
So,
And I think the lift prices are cheaper there too.
yeah, everything's cheaper.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, and, it's just it's that mindset.
But I
People
want to go there and ride.
travel.
I want to go ride the Alps though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier for me to sell it to the wife to say,
Yeah.
"Hey, let's go on a skiing trip," versus, "Hey, I'm gonna go by myself. I'll see you in a week."
No, no, you're gonna go with Bryan. You and I go we'll record a podcast while we're over there, and we'll just write it off with all the
Yeah.
money we make from this podcast.
We need to do a boat rental while we're there,
Yeah,
so I can write it off for my business too.
right. I'll go by, check out a tile factory or something.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty. That's why I do one cruise a year, because I'm understanding the market, understanding the trends.
Hmm.
Because they spend millions of dollars to do this, I can do it for the low price of like 4 grand.
And now with AI, like observing everything, they're right now watching this podcast and they're sitting in for an audit for us.
100%.
Yeah, that's the problem. AI is going to get so smart, you're not going to be able to say anything in public anymore.
Yeah. Well, they've been doing behind the scenes for years with the cameras and everything, being able to monitor and piggyback
We
off of.
we got flagged. So John was in episode 1 of the show, and I tried to promote it on YouTube, and it got flagged, and they denied my promotion. Which I'm like, I'm trying to give them money. It wasn't a lot of money, but I was trying to give them $25 or whatever to kind of boost the channel. It said it was for.
Well, no, don't say it because we don't want to get flagged
Yeah,
again.
it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Like, and there was no way to appeal it that I could find. Their system is so convoluted. So yeah, I won't say it.
It might just because of be me. Maybe it's like my face is
No,
automatically.
because it happened again with Paul, and he said almost there's one thing that he might have said that could cause this, but also very ridiculous. And if a real person saw it, they would know it was a joke. I don't.
I mean, we said that joke and it offended someone a lot.
It did offend somebody. Yeah, we said a joke in the last one. Go back and watch episode 1 if you want to know what the joke is. It literally was like an off the cuff remark, and we just laughed about it. And somebody got. I made a clip of that and put it out separately, like a short,
Yeah.
as a joke with a political warning in the beginning or whatever. And somebody really actually got offended about it. And
Yeah.
but it turned out well because he argued like with 10 different people
Yeah.
for like 2 days, and then all of a sudden he's like, you know what? I don't know why I was arguing about that. Stupid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And
I was like, oh my God, like I can't believe.
I wasn't expecting him to actually admit that he made a mistake, that he realized that it wasn't what he thought it was.
Yeah, yeah, because he called me a name, and I was like, dude, you
Yeah.
don't know me. Like, you're 100% wrong about what you're saying right now. Like,
Yeah. But that's the thing is,
and he doubled down on it, and he was like accusing me, and I was.
it
It's
was
one of those weird internet interactions where,
a quick emotional response.
yeah,
Instead of, taking time to like, well, was it really what he was saying, or am I just overthinking this? And it was you completely overthought it. Like
yeah.
if you've watched any of our videos, if you've watched anything I've posted in the last 10 years, like don't take me
Well, he was a
seriously.
fan of yours. That's how he saw it because I
Yeah,
tagged you in the video, and
yeah.
he was like, "You're ruining your brand," and
Like I
I was like,
mean,
"What brand?" Like,
yeah, my whatever. I mean, if you don't want to follow me, I could care less.
yeah, yeah,
Again, I'm not getting paid for anything I'm doing on there. I like before it's about traveling, posting, meeting writers,
yeah.
connecting with the community, and just even going into the towns and then seeing the kids come up. They're all excited. They want to see everywhere you're going.
All right. So if you're out there and you're watching, you got a trip you want to do, write in. You can click. There's a link at the bottom of the podcast thing there where you can send a message, or you can go on Facebook and send us a message. Uh, Binge Moto on Facebook or on Instagram, or 2LADV if you want to send John a message and ask him,
Hate mail, whatever.
hey, if you don't like his opinion of Ducati or whatever he was talking about today, then you can let him.
Just hit the block button. I don't care.
Yeah, let him know. Let him know. Yeah, but yeah, block him. Whatever. Yeah, send us a message. Tell us about some trips you want to take or that we should take. Things we might have missed.
If you want to meet up, I mean, like that's the thing is if we're riding out west and you live in Arizona and we're going to be passing through, say, hey, I live in
Yeah,
Tucson, Arizona. When you get close, let me know.
right. Absolutely.
I've done that in the past with my travels, and I've met some really cool people. And
Yeah, I mean, I did a trip basically a year and a half ago where I was up there and some guys on Facebook saw me and he said, hey, come stay in my house or whatever. And
yeah,
I didn't get murdered, so I'm still here.
yeah.
Yeah, he had a garage, parked my bike in, and
I don't fall for I have candy in the van trick, but if you say you have a good coffee shop, that will normally work for me.
right. All right. Well, thanks for sticking it out, and go ahead and follow us, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Share it with a friend. Um, Send a friend the audio link so they can download it, and I can get some more audio downloads.
Yeah.
Yeah, and um, go watch some TV shows and go check out the new Triumph 400 Scrambler XC. If you get a buy one get one deal and you don't have somebody to give it to, you can give John or I, probably me. He's already got 2 bikes. I only have one, so But in the meantime, go ride a motorcycle.